We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talk Stros. You can find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can they find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter and at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros.
All right, and we have special guest, Lance McCullers. Where can they find you at on Twitter?
Oh, shit. I don't know. Maybe El McCullers 43 or something like that. Let me see. We got El McCullers 43 on Twitter, and on Instagram, we got Lance McCullers 43.
All right, yeah, and you're all over Twitter this morning. We saw you doing the press I don't know if you call that a press conference, but it's.
I guess that's what they are now.
Yeah.
Virtual press conferences.
Right. So we're going to be talking to Lance McCullers about what he expects for the upcoming season and a little bit talking about the Astros and all that on today's Locked On Astros podcast. You can get Locked On Astros on podcast app Himalaya, as well as Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And when you get in the car, tell your smart device played podcast, Locked On Astros. Today's episode is brought to you by Built Bar. Built Bar is a protein bar that tastes like a candy bar. Go to builtbar.com and use the promo code LOCKEDON20 and you get 20% off your first order. All right, so Lance, talk to us about your offseason. I know it was a little bit different than the year before coming off Tommy John surgery. What did you focus on this offseason?
Well, my offseason, I got to be honest, man. Coming back from TJ is tough. It's tough physically. It's the most tough mentally. And when I kind of accomplished that, I took a little bit of time off and I got right back in the gym, but I didn't get to get as much weight on me as I was hoping before the start of 2020. And with the whole pandemic, it was weird. So I was trying to build off of my last 7 or 8 starts that I had last year. I felt like that was a really good version of myself. Not because the ERA was there. The ERA in those last 8 starts was sub 2, but it was the command. It was my command. It was my velo, the way I was able to mix pitches. That's what I wanted to build off of. So that's what I'm expecting for this spring. I'm expecting for this year. I'm expecting to continue to build on what kind of the foundation I laid last year. And that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, so we speak often to a guy named Clay Hensley, a former professional pitcher from the Houston area. He didn't have Tommy John surgery, but he's had other surgeries before, and he talked about coming back. When you're ready, you feel ready. So what about your delivery? Have you had to alter it at all? Has it changed? Do you feel stronger? What's that like?
So if you guys take a trip on me through memory lane, in 2016, I came into spring training and I had some shoulder tightness in spring of 2016. And I was very young. I was 22 years old, had about 130 innings in my professional career. And I missed a little bit of time that year in 2016. And I came back too quick. I came back because I felt like I had to. I felt like I didn't have a solidified spot in the big leagues, and I wanted to prove my worth. And when I did that, I changed my arm action. I shortened my arm action severely. So you can actually go back to those first couple starts of 2016 and you'll see what I'm talking about. The arm action from 2016 and those first 4 or 5 starts versus what you see now, or what you saw pre-2016, is what led to my elbow injury. So my elbow injury came about because I wanted to try to prove something, and that was that I was a good big league pitcher, which I knew I was, but I was young and I didn't want to get passed up, so to speak. So I kind of wanted to go back to what got me to the big leagues, which is a clean delivery, and I'm feeling very good with my mechanics. I feel strong. When you go through TJ, you learn a lot about your body, and he's right. When you're ready, you're ready, and I feel really ready right now.
We had a listener who actually wanted to ask you a question. His name is Jim Gombowski, and he said that he's noticed that pitchers that come back from Tommy John surgery, they seem to have better movement on their ball. Do you feel like that you seem to have better movement on your pitches?
I would say that I would say that has some truth to it, but I would say it's because during the rehab process, you spend so much time throwing and learning, like almost learning how to rethrow. And you, so when, as you're young, you start playing baseball and you start throwing, and then you start getting older and you start adding pitches, and it takes you a while to learn how to throw those pitches. But then when you have surgery, you're relearning how to throw, but you already have the knowledge of the pitches. So it's almost like, you get to work on both when you come back. You get to kind of mix in the new knowledge that you're getting, the knowledge you already have, with a lot of reps and a lot of time to work on your stuff. And I think that's why you see guys like my changeup is much more consistent now. And it's a very good pitch for me, much more before surgery, because I had that time to lock in on it.
It's awesome watching you guys go out there on an everyday basis, do the things that I think most of us want to be doing as adults. And you've got someone like Zack Greinke on the mound, a veteran, somewhat of kind of a guru, like the elder statesman. Can you share with us any interesting conversations or maybe something you've said to him or y'all talked about during a game that we wouldn't normally hear unless we were there in the dugout? Nothing private, just interesting topics that y'all talked about.
Well, I mean, Zack is, you're right. He's just such an, guys don't hang around that long. There are veterans in this game. I guess I'm a veteran. This is my 7th season with the Astros coming up. Obviously, I lost one to Tommy John, but, Zack has been around about 16 years. I mean, and his arc and his career is pretty fascinating. He came up as a flamethrower, a young 19, 20-year-old kid who's a flamethrower, man, throwing 100, nasty breaking stuff. And as he's gotten older, he's still good, but his style of pitching has completely changed. He reminds me like a right-handed Dallas Keuchel in some aspects. So it's really cool being able to talk with him, and he's just brutally honest in a good way. He's kind of like, not like your dad, but like someone that is someone you trust that's older than you, that just gives it to you straight, and he there's no hold back there. And so one time I was asking about my 4-seam that I've been working on like tirelessly. And he was like, it's honestly really bad. Like you should just stop throwing it. And I was like, all right, well, there's my answer. I'll just stop throwing. I'll stop throwing the 4-seam. So that was kind of like that's my like little Zack Greinke story, but really good guy, good teammate. And it's great to have him with us.
Well, if he's your dad, then I guess that would make Justin Verlander grandpa in a way. But I know you kind of grew up around big leaguers with your dad, but what was it like having Justin Verlander join the team in 2017, and how has he influenced your team, your pitching?
Oh, it was so cool to have Justin join our team in the time he did, because in 2017, his season got off to a rocky start. When we traded for him, he was starting to pitch really well, but it was like, man, when he got to us, I know he loved Detroit. I'm not saying he didn't love Detroit, but when you're in the same place so long, I mean, it was like I feel like it was a brush of, it was just like an ocean breeze, man. It was the freshest breath of air that he had. And he was just on a mission to win that World Series with us that year. And what he did for our team and our spirit at the time, and what he's done for us since, is you don't see guys reinvent themselves and have the type of success that he has had, which speaks volumes to the kind of athlete he is, and amazing pitcher. But he's special. It's special to watch him pitch.
All righty, so we're going to have to take a little short break. When we get back, we're going to go and continue this conversation. And we cover everything you need to know about the Houston Astros, but what about the rest of sports? Now the Locked On Podcast Network has you covered there as well with the Locked On Today. It's hosted by the great Peter Bukowski, and it covers all the sports you need to know every morning in under 20 minutes. Subscribe to Locked On Today podcast wherever you get your podcast. And Brett, what about the betonline.ag
So betonline.ag is your sports book experts, and they are everywhere you need to go. If you want to bet on the Astros winning the next World Series in 2021, you want to bet on Alex Bregman being the MVP, or Lance McCullers being the Cy Young Award winner, you can go to betonline.ag. And when you join, use the promo code Locked On, and you'll get a 50% welcome bonus. Let me tell you, for the first time, I did some sports betting during the Super Bowl, and I actually made some cheddar. That's right, not much, but a little bit to pay for a couple meals. Check it out. They are your sports betting network, and I mean, they are the best. They even have prop bets on TV shows like American Idol, The Bachelor, all kinds of crazy things. So go check them out. betonline.ag, the best place to place your bets in the business.
All right, so Lance, I know that you've always been one to kind of bet on yourself, and you've always kind of in the past. I know after coming back from Tommy John surgery, there was a lot of talk about you limiting, maybe the Astros limiting your innings last year, and you're always like, no, I want to go out there and I want to pitch and all that. So what about 2020? What are your goals for how many innings you want to pitch? I mean, sorry, 2021.
Yeah, man. No, I know what you meant. Listen, I've missed too much time already. I tore my UCL in 2016. I spent the back half of 2016 on the DL because of it. I spent DL time on 2017 because of the elbow. And then obviously I missed the last 2 months of 2018 and all 2019 with elbow surgery. So looking back on it, if I had a crystal ball, I maybe would have gotten TJ when I was 22 and just called it a day. But I'm happy with the way things worked out, and I got to play and really be a part of some amazing teams, especially that World Series team. And when you're rehabbing from TJ, you're on the team, but you're really not a part of the team. And that's not like any knock on anything. This is facts, just how it is. I mean, the guys were so good to me that year, really supportive and motivating, but I wasn't, really part of that team. So I just want to go out there every single day, man. And I want to help the young guys on our team. I want to be a leader in the clubhouse, and I want to pitch, and I want to pitch well. I just want guys to just the confidence that I know Alex and Carlos and Altuve and Maldi, these guys have publicly shown me. I just want to just do right by them and just have a great season.
So we know you've been throwing your cutter. You have an arsenal of pitches. What is your go-to pitch? I mean, people would probably say your cutter, or I don't know. What do you have a go-to pitch, or does it depends on who's in that box?
Early in my career, my go-to pitch was my breaking balls, my curveball. And everyone's pretty familiar with the curveball because of the 24 straight to end the ALCS, but I really have a lot of confidence right now in my changeup and that cutter that you mentioned, and the breaking ball as well. So I almost think at this point it's a by hitter basis, and it's kind of what is happening in that game. A lot of times early in my career, if I didn't really have my breaking ball going, it could have been a tough one. But I think now I've developed enough pitches to really be able to match up well, and use them when they're supposed to be used.
All right, so we have another question from a listener. It's Ruben Farias, and he said, how often do you and Carlos Correa train MMA and mixed martial arts in the off season, and how do you feel that the principles of that translate onto the diamond?
I trained this off season about 2 or 3 times a week, and I loved it. It was so refreshing for me, and my garage actually was a little mini MMA gym. We had the mats down in the garage, and we didn't have room for the cars, but it was fun. It was fun to have them out there. I think it makes you learn a lot about your body, and they actually translate pretty well. I had those gloves on, 16-ounce gloves, because I was using boxing gloves because it protects your wrist and whatnot, plus the wraps. And, I'm swinging those things around pretty hard, and I feel like it It gave me a little more bulk up top than I'm used to hopefully carry this weight. And then obviously jiu-jitsu, which I did as well, is very humbling because you're a beginner at this game. It's like you're a baby learning how to walk. So it was very humbling, and I enjoyed it. I feel like it's going to translate well mentally and definitely physically, and just understanding my body more.
I didn't actually type this down, Brett. I want to kind of a follow-up question, but somebody else asked if you and Carlos Correa would actually have a MMA fight. Who do you think would have the upper hand?
Me and Carlos?
Yeah.
Well, Carlos is much bigger than me, but Carlos gasses out. So I got the cardio. I got the cardio advantage for sure. I think I have the ground advantage as well. So Carlos always says on our podcast, grapplers over striking. So I guess if I'm the grappler with the cardio, then I guess I'd win. That's his words, not mine. So.
Well, hey, how about this idea? I know that we have 7-inning doubleheaders in 2021, and they're changing baseball. If we face the Dodgers, can we have instead of a shootout like in soccer, can we have you guys go against Joe Kelly?
I'm not getting baited in anymore. I'm not getting baited in.
I'm sorry.
It's not happening anymore because that is gonna. Nope.
Eric is mad at me right now. Okay, I'm sorry. Just that was
no. It's not. Maybe in my younger years I would have said something, but we'll just go to doubleheaders for now, I guess.
There you go. So on a serious note, Jason Castro came back. When he was with the Astros, he had some really good seasons. And coming back, he is a veteran. He's a backup. But what is it like having another veteran right behind Martin Maldonado? When Martin's not in there, you have someone like Castro, a veteran, come in to help you guys out.
I can't tell you what a luxury. I'm talking like Rolls Royce type situation. When you as a starting pitcher get to go to sleep at night, it doesn't matter who's in the lineup the next day as far as catching goes. You love both of your guys. And that is no knock on any catchers that I've had in the past or dual catchers that have shared time. But I had this guy, Jason Castro, caught my first years in the big leagues. I mean, this is the guy that I broke into the big leagues with. And then Maldi has caught me after TJ. And so I have these really good relationships with both of these guys on a personal level and professional level, quote unquote professional level, and a comfort level with these guys that I don't think many pitchers are able to say they have that relationship with both their catchers just because of the history I have with both of them. So I was extremely excited to have Jason back. He isn't the ultimate veteran. He's a great guy. He passes the knowledge along to the young guys and treats the young guys well. He treated me very well when I was a rookie, which I always appreciated. So I was very happy to have Castro back and have that tandem duo with Maldi because they're both probably some of the most underrated catchers around.
All right, guys, if you're a fan of baseball, not just the Astros, why don't you join Paul Francis Sullivan? Please call him Sully every day on the Locked On MLB podcast for a unique look at the majors, both present and past, featuring exciting guest interviews, routine check-ins from Locked On MLB's team of local experts, and insightful analysis of the day's biggest stories. Locked On MLB podcast is the single best source for the daily baseball talk. Subscribe today wherever you get your podcasts. So, Brett, why don't you go and tell Lance a little bit about Built Bar?
Okay, so Lance, let me tell you, if you're training MMA and you're in the off season or even during the season, Built Bar has a protein bar, and I've tasted a lot of them. This is a protein bar, but it's really a candy bar because it's wrapped in 100% chocolate. It's got about 170 calories. It's only got about 5 net carbs. It's got 17 grams of protein. And let me tell you, like, I hate carrot cake. Like, carrot and cake shouldn't be mixed together. They have Oh, here's the thing. They have a carrot cake flavor, and I love it. It's like one of my favorite flavors. But they also have white chocolate, cookies and cream. And if I could show you right now, if we were at my house, I could open our fridge, and Miss Wheelhouse and myself and Wheelhouse Jr., boy, we slam the Built Bars. They are a part of our everyday diet. And if you're a healthy, conscious guy like Mr. McCullers here, go to builtbar.com and use a promo code locked on 20 to get 20% off your first order. And when you get that box, it will have another coupon for another 20%. They've got all kinds of stuff. They've got built puffs. They even have built broth. They have immune boosters. Anything you want, go to builtbar.com. They are the best bar in the biz.
All righty. So did he sell you on a Built Bar?
He did, man. Well, I like carrot cake, so I'm in.
All righty. So you've been kind of pimping this whole show Stros. Where did you come up with that idea?
I don't know. I don't know who said it, or when I got to the big leagues early on, they call it the show. They called it the show. And I always refer to the Astros on Twitter as the Stros, or on Instagram or whatever. I always said the Stros. So I think at some point along the line, I just kind of combined the two, and it's the show Stros, baby.
Okay, that makes sense. I used to have Talking Stros, so that makes sense. So.
Yeah, I like that, and I run a Facebook page. We got about 32,000 followers, called Stros 411 on Facebook, and always positive, always Stros. And it's been, somewhat of a tumultuous time because we have to deal with a lot of haters coming in, and so we try to keep it positive for you guys, to give you guys a good positive outlook. I've got a question about Framber Valdez. Okay, Framber Valdez has had his ups and his downs. What is the biggest difference you see now in this young up and coming pitcher that you didn't see when he first came up?
Well, Framber's always had the stuff, man. I mean, the second he got to our team, he pitched. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? I mean, this guy's got nasty stuff. The difference now is the strikes, is the strike ability, his ability to locate his breaking ball in the zone and to challenge guys with the heater. He has excellent movement on that two seam. Is all the difference. Before, guys could honestly just sit there and take their walks, and he would fall behind, and he would give in to, the heaters. So him being able to mix his pitches confidently, being able to throw multiple pitches in the zone, has made all the difference for him in the world. And he's got to be a big part of our team if we're wanting to do what we're hoping to do.
So I know that Scott Boras is your agent, and a lot of fans, when they hear the name Scott Boras, they kind of cringe because he has kind of a little bit of a reputation. But I know the big talk of today was kind of that you want to be extended and you want to be an Astro for the rest of your life. And this is something that you've kind of talked about on Twitter. This is something that you've expressed. I know Correa is kind of in the same spot. Do you anticipate them kind of reaching out to you sometime before spring training and y'all coming up with a deal, or you have no idea?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I was asked those questions today, and I just kind of spoke from the heart. A lot of guys have gone through this experience and have wanted to be here and have ended up not here. And I feel like they've always kind of regretted not saying it to the fans out there how much they love it here. So it's not coming from a place of like I need an extension or anything like that. Like you mentioned, I'm very confident in my abilities, and I bet on myself. But it just is about where I want to be, and where you want to be and where you end up sometimes doesn't always play out. That's life. I'm sure you guys know that, but Scott gets a bad rap from the sports media, and it's kind of, I don't really know a lot of people that have been with Scott for numbers of years. Like myself, I've been with Scott Boras since I was 16 years old. He was my advisor. I was a sophomore in high school, and my agent now. And there's not a whole lot of people that will speak poorly of Scott if you know him and if you have him in your corner. I think people hear the other side. I think people, and Scott like legitimately loves, like when I say loves, I mean like capital letters, like he loves his players. This guy's got like 60 TVs in his house so he can watch every single game. All he does is baseball. And so I think when you love something, you fight for it. And I think Boras is known for fighting for his guys. Maybe sometimes it makes people angry. But at the end of the day, and what Scott always lets you know is he works for you. And he will say that over and over and over again. He works for you and he will follow your wishes. So I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you what's going to happen with the Astros. I just know that when I was asked this question today, I said, you know what? I know I've seen guys play it close to the vest because it's the right move. And I said, you know, I'm just going to let Houston know that I do want to be here. And if I end up not here, at least, you know, they know I didn't pack my bags and run, you know, so because Houston's important to me. So that's it. Scott is a great man. He's a great agent and he will fight for his guys, but he'll also pay attention to him and listen to him as well.
No. So, talking about the 2021 season and going forward, we know George Springer, one of the great, you know, veterans of this club. But the club atmosphere is still there. And to me, from what I've seen from the outside looking in, that you guys have created a clubhouse atmosphere that I think is second to none. Right now, who would you say are the guys that really carry this clubhouse? And maybe are you one of those guys? Who are the ones that others look to kind of for leadership?
Yeah, I agree with you. George was a huge part of our team. You're never going to get around that. He's a huge part of Astros baseball history. He'll always be one of the greats, I believe, in Astros baseball history, especially what he was able to do in our postseason runs. So he's going to be missed, man. We miss him. We miss him around. We miss his smile. We miss his, you know, his charismatic attitude. He's just a great guy. There's nothing else you can really say. But the culture that we've built here will last much longer beyond any one individual player, myself included, Carlos, Altuve, Bregman, you name it. That culture is passed down to the next wave of guys. You know, Colin McHugh, Brian McCann, Dallas Keuchel. These guys help build that culture and they pass it to us. And then now we carry that culture and then we pass it to the next guys. So any veteran any guy that's been on this team 4+ years, 5+ years, those are going to be the guys that are the leaders. And myself included, I'm our player rep. I'm very involved with all the players, even the guys that are in our 40-man system that are in the minor leagues. So it's something that I really enjoy doing. It was something that I was gifted with great veterans. And not a lot of people are. A lot of people have bad veteran experiences, and I had great ones. So I always wanted to pass that down because I was treated well by a lot of guys.
I know that when you were coming up, a lot of people had eyes on you as a can't miss prospect. Is there any pitching prospects out there that have opened your eyes at camp so far?
We had a kid named Brown.
Hunter,
He's like
Hunter
number 94 in camp. Hunter Brown. I've been watching him throw the ball. He's got really good stuff, man. Really good stuff. And I watch him throw. You open your eyes. So I've seen him throw. Everyone knows Forrest Whitley's got nasty stuff, man. This guy was the first round pick for a reason. He's just got, you know, he's run into some injuries and things of that nature. So he's just got, you know, COVID season, et cetera. So we just got to put it together. But that Brown kid, I've watched him throw a couple times and I've been impressed.
Yeah, he grew up in Detroit, I heard. And when I watched him pitch, he had a delivery almost exactly like Justin Verlander. And someone said, yeah, he grew up.
Got big front side.
Yeah, trying to mimic Justin Verlander. I thought that was really cool.
So if you're the manager, who would you give the ball to opening day?
I would give it to me because although I'm not the most tenured service time wise, I'm the most tenured Astro pitcher in an Astros uni. And with it possibly, you know, being my last season, I feel like it would be a nice, because after that after that first go round, it don't mean nothing. The rotation doesn't mean anything. You guys jumping around all the time. Guys get injured. Guys get slotted in, slotted out. All that is just all that is hoopla. It's just it's for, you know, it don't matter what order. I've seen guys start in the 4th and 5th slot and be top 3 Cy Young. I've seen guys start opening day in other teams and they get released in the middle of the season. So that stuff doesn't matter. But I would love to pitch opening day, and if not, maybe I'll just count it out and pitch Minute Maid Park opening day.
There you go.
So I know that years ago I did a Pets Alive event with you. I think it wasn't over by Westheimer, if I remember correctly. That was a long time ago, but
I did a lot of them, man. I did a lot of them.
Yeah, but go and tell us a little bit about the Lance McCullers Foundation and what have you all been doing recently?
Yeah, you know, we're an animals foundation. If you really want to be specific, we're a big breed, animal foundation. And so one of our biggest impacts that we've made, in my opinion, is our transport program. So we have partners in Houston through PetSet and RPM, Rescue Pet Movement. And we basically send off about 5 to 6 transports a month. And those transports have anywhere from 150 to 200 animals, depending on the sizes. And they go to surrounding states of Texas, and they're driven by employees, volunteers actually, of those programs, of those rescues in Houston. And so far to date, we've saved over 60,000 animals through our transport program that otherwise would have most likely been killed. So it's been really cool. That's been a great program. And we also do a second chance fund where we give grants to animals that are injured that come into shelters that would really be the first line of animals to be put down because of the medical expenses. So we help in that aspect, of course, spay and neutering and animal wellness. But we've been branching out into the community, especially with Harvey and especially recently with the winter freeze. We've been branched out into the Houston community and really been there for all aspects of Houston.
All right, to close out the podcast, let's do a little rapid fire. We're going to ask you a few questions, and just tell us who do you think will have the most of this. Okay, you ready, Lance? Who do you think will have the most homers on the Astros this year?
Oh man, most homers on the Astros this year. I'm going to I'm going to go Carlos Correa, and I'm going to say a surprise pick would be Kyle Tucker.
Okay. Who will have the most wins on the Astros pitching staff?
It's same. So
me.
How many wins you gonna have?
He's gonna say 22.
18.
Okay. Who has the most stolen bases?
Most stolen bases is gonna be Kyle Tucker.
Okay. Most doubles.
Most doubles will be Breggy.
Who's going to have the most walk-off hits?
Most walk-off hits.
While sticking out his tongue.
It depends on what the lineup is. I don't know what the lineup's going to be this year, but whoever hits in that I would say Brantley. I think Brantley will have the most walk-off hits this year.
Okay. Oh, by the way, how awesome is it having back in the lineup, Brantley back?
The best, man. My heart broke once that day when Springer got signed, but it was a happy heartbreak because I was happy for him and his family. But when I saw the report of Brantley, I said, I can't handle this shit in one day. But it's nice for him to be back for sure. Right. He's my guy. Well, that's my guy right there.
Well, thanks for joining us. This was awesome, and have a great season, and maybe an off season, and we can come back on after y'all win another World Series and after you sign an extension or whatever. So good luck to the season, and thanks for coming on.
Yeah, Lance, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Hey, guys.
The best to you and your family and your daughter, and just enjoy it. Enjoy it while they're young, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you, guys. And thanks for sticking with me. My daughter was a little sick this past week, and we had to reschedule many times. But she's on the mend, feeling better. So I'm glad we got to do it.
All right. Thank you. And
Yes, sir.
guys, that's all we got for this Locked On Astros podcast. We'll talk to you later.